Spade story time.
When Luna Woods was 5 years old, her parents had a second child, a younger sister. When she went to the hospital to visit, she witnessed with her own eyes that someone swapped her sister with another baby. But she didn't make it public and quietly swapped them back by herself. 20 years later, a young girl showed up in front of her parents in a disheveled state, crying and saying, "Dear Mom, Dad, I'm your biological daughter." After coming back from a business trip abroad, the atmosphere at home became very strained. Her parents had different expressions on their faces, and the house was quiet. Luna Woods carried the gifts she brought for the whole family and asked, "So, where's Lily? Isn't it the weekend today?
Didn't she come back this week?"
Lily Woods was 5 years younger than Luna and was a sophomore in college. She was studying at a local university and usually came home on weekends when she had nothing to do. On the way back just now, Luna could already imagine Lily's reaction when she entered the door. She would surely rush over like a little puppy as soon as she came in, take the suitcase from Luna's hand and then cling to her affectionately, saying, "Hey sister, I missed you so much." However, Luna didn't see her sister, but only saw her silent parent. Her father waved at her and said, "Hey Luna, come here. Your mom and I have something very important to discuss with you." As the eldest child in the family, Luna had already started to get involved in the family business after going to college. The Woods family was undoubtedly a wealthy and powerful one. They could even trace back their family tree completely and had produced some quite remarkable figures in history. In her parents' generation, all the relatives were also wealthy. The family's industries were all waiting for Luna and Lily to inherit. There was really a lot at stake in the family. "What are you two up to?" So mysterious day Luna walked over with some suspicion. Could it be that Lily was bullied at school day after all?
Hey, son.
It was impossible for her sister to bully others. Noreen. Her mother pulled her to sit down with a rather complicated look on her face. "Barry, it's much more serious than that." Was there anything more serious than her sister being bullied? Has our family gone bankrupt? Which industry day the family was involved in many industries, and Luna couldn't think of which one was on the decline for a moment. "No, it's not that," her father said. He looked worried. "Day Luna, have you ever thought that Lily might not be our child?" Luna looked at her mother and said, "Ty, Mom, did you do something wrong when you were young?" Takes in, she got a smack. "What are you thinking, kid?" Her father raised his voice a little. "I mean, is it possible that Lily isn't mine or your mother's child?" "That's impossible," Luna said firmly. After hearing Luna's words, her mother also expressed her concerns with a heavy heart. "So, yes, how could the child we've raised for 20 years not be ours?" Her parents' behavior was really strange. Luna folded her arms and leaned back, looking at them, and asked, "Kay, what on earth happened? Who said Lily isn't our child?" From her parents, Luna heard about the absurd things that had happened during the week she was on a business trip. Just a few days ago, a 20-year-old girl showed up in front of her parents in a shabby state, hugging her mother's thigh and crying bitterly, "Dear Mom, Dad, I'm your biological daughter. Your current younger daughter, Lily Woods, is a fake. Her biological mother swapped us at birth." A stranger comes and claims to be your biological daughter and you just believe it. Luna felt a headache coming on. "Give me your phone. Let me see if you've downloaded the anti-fraud app." But she accurately told the date and time of your sister's birth. She even knew which hospital it was and who the doctor in charge was at that time. Her mother said. "That only means she's a well-prepared liar." Dear Luna continued. "This information isn't confidential. It's not surprising if someone remembered it or happened to know it. Your father and I didn't believe it at first either, but she took out the jade pendant that your grandmother gave to your sister when she was born to your father chimed in. You were still young at that time and might not remember your grandmother especially customized a jade pendant for both you and your sister. The one Lily has now was replaced later. The original one was placed in her baby crib by your grandmother on the day she was born, and it disappeared at some point." Their words suddenly brought back some long-forgotten memories for Luna. When Lily was born, Luna was 5 years old. She had just come back from kindergarten that day, and only the nanny was at home. Luna cried for her parents and was told that they had gone to the hospital to have a younger brother or sister. She should have gone to the hospital to see her sister the next evening. By that time, Lily Woods had been born for more than 10 hours. Luna couldn't quite remember what the security measures in the hospital were like 20 years ago, but she remembered that there were quite a lot of child traffickers at that time. Many of them directly stole children from hospitals at that time. Her father happened to receive a phone call and went back to deal with an emergency in the company. The relatives at home were originally lively looking at the baby, but her mother was too tired and needed to rest, so the ward became quiet again. There should have been a nanny staying to watch the baby, but Luna didn't remember why she left the ward at that time. Luna tiptoed to look at the baby in the crib. She was so small and soft, like a fragile thing that would cry if touched. But she was cute, just like Luna. Luna stared at her for too long and got sleepy. The light in the room was dim. Both her mother and sister needed to rest. As sleepiness hit her, Luna didn't know what she was thinking at that time. She just thought that her mother's coat hanging on the hanger was so warm and comfortable, so she took it down, covered herself with it, and fell asleep, leaning against the head of the bed. However, soon, the sound of the door opening woke her up. Luna thought it was her father who had come back, but soon realized it wasn't. A figure that clearly belonged to a woman walked into the ward. It wasn't the nanny at home, nor a relative or a friend of her parent. She was holding something in her arms. Looking closely, Luna found it was a baby. The woman put that baby down, picked up Lily, and tiptoed out. Perhaps because the light was dim, Luna was small enough at that time and didn't move in the corner and was covered by her mother's coat, so the woman didn't notice that there was anyone else in the ward besides her mother and sister. Luna just watched quietly, still thinking she was dreaming in a sleepy day. When the faint sound of the door closing rang out, Luna suddenly got up and tiptoed to look at the baby crib. Although newborn babies looked almost the same, and the baby was wearing the same clothes as Lily, Luna had stared at her sister for so long that there was no way she couldn't recognize her. They had been swapped. Realizing something was wrong, Luna immediately went to shake her mother, but she was breathing evenly and couldn't be woken up. Without hesitation, Luna opened the door and just saw the figure of the woman before she turned the corner, so she immediately followed. The woman entered another ward. There came a voice like she was talking to herself, but Luna didn't hear it clearly. However, she remembered the ward number not long after a man came to look for her, and the two of them quarreled in the ward. The man probably snatched something and ran away, and the woman chased after him. Right at that moment, Luna tiptoed to open the door, slipped in, and saw her sister in the baby crib. She was very sure that was her sister, so she struggled to pick her up and carried her back to her mother's ward. Lily made a soft sound in the middle, but fortunately, she was sensible and didn't cry. After carrying Lily back, Luna took the strange baby to that ward again. When the nanny came back and saw Luna carrying Lily and fussing around, she was shocked. Later, when her father heard about it, he even scolded Luna, saying she was being naughty. As for her mother, she woke up after sleeping for a few hours and was fine, so Luna was relieved. This incident didn't leave a deep mark in Luna's memory. In fact, when she thought about it later, she thought it was just a dream she had. And now someone came to claim kinship with the jade pendant given by her grandmother to Lily. After recalling those memories, Luna wasn't sure if all the details in her memory were correct. But if it was a dream, then her sister had never been swapped. If it wasn't a dream, then she had already swapped her sister back then. Where's that girl who came to claim kinship? Where is she? Dear Luna, your father and I have settled her in the house in Eastlake District. Her mother said softly. Luna frowned. Yeah, did you do a paternity test before settling her in our house? I didn't dare, Thea. Her mother lowered her eyes. Her father also hung his head. They were afraid that there might be that one in a million chance. If the daughter they raised for 20 years wasn't their own, how could they part with the parental love they had cultivated over the past 20 years? If their biological daughter had been living outside for 20 years, how could they make up for those 20 years? Luna didn't tell them what she remembered, although she was sure that Lily was her biological sister. The memory from when she was 5 years old might not be true after all. Only the paternity test was the most powerful proof. Well, Luna quickly came up with a solution. Let's make an appointment with that girl who came to claim kinship as soon as possible and go for a paternity test with her. Before the result comes out, there's no need to let Lily know about that. No one would want to see the scene where their close relatives suspect whether they have blood relations or not. Her parents also agreed to this plan. They knew that no matter how hesitant or reluctant they were, this matter needed to be resolved, and the sooner the better. What if it turns out that there is a blood relationship? Tidy, her mother, was still very anxious. Luna looked down at the work information on her phone and replied casually, "Say call the police to arrest the child traffickers. Bring her back, compensate her if necessary. Lily can move out and live with me. At worst, Lily is already capable of being independent and can take good care of herself." However, Luna added calmly, I still think this is likely to be a farce. However, the unexpected always comes faster than tomorrow. Luna originally thought that only she and her parents knew about this matter. But to her surprise, the next day, someone called her. Miss Woods, something's happened. On Sunday, Luna was supposed to be resting, but she couldn't. Generally speaking, college students wouldn't have the situation of having their parents called to school. But today was an exception. Lily Woods had a fight with someone at school. When Luna got the news, the person who tipped her off on the phone was Lily's friend saying that Lily didn't want her parents to know. Luna was shocked that her well-behaved sister had a fight with someone. When she rushed to the police station, it was quite lively. Among the bustling crowd, Luna saw Lily Woods with red eyes, her friend, and her very young counselor, who seemed only a few years older than Luna. They were all at the police station to deal with the matter of the student fighting on campus, and their nice weekend was ruined. Lily, Nuda called out. The little girl with red eyes and a look of anger in the crowd turned around and saw Luna, then immediately rushed over and hugged her. "Dear sister, you're finally here." Luna carefully checked her sister and found that she didn't have any injuries, except that the back of her hand was a little red. "Why did you fight with someone, dear?" She loudly complained. "Their sister, Peter Page, cheated on you and flirted with a girl in our school behind your back." Peter Page, Luna's fiancé. Only then did Luna see the man she hadn't seen for more than a week in the crowd. With Luna's family background, it was impossible for her to pursue pure love without considering the family background and personal conditions of her partner. Peter Page was the fiancé she had chosen for herself. Their families were equally wealthy, and he was good looking. Both parents were satisfied, although he wasn't very ambitious or capable in his career. Luna valued his family background more. It didn't matter if he was a bit laid back. Luna couldn't expect everyone to be as ambitious as she was. "Peter, what's going on here?" Luna's gaze slowly fell on the handsome, but somewhat embarrassed man beside her. There was an obvious palm print on his fair cheek. His clothes were a bit messy, and his expensive shirt was wrinkled. Beside Peter Page was a strange girl, who was pretty standing next to Peter. The distance between them was clearly less than the normal social distance. Peter Page still had a hint of anger on his face. "Dare, Luna, don't listen to your sister's nonsense. I was just sending a friend to school." "What kind of friend do you have to put your arm around her shoulders and let her wear your suit jacket?" Lily Woods wasn't aggrieved anymore. She put her hands on her hips, looking full of fighting spirit. "How old are you? Who is she to you? Are you shameless to flirt with a college girl? How dare you cheat? I'm a sister." "Believe it or not, Luna's well-behaved. Sister seemed to be controlled by a second personality. She looked like she wanted to hit Peter Page again. "Is this your friend? Which family's daughter is she? I've never seen her before." Luna looked at the girl beside Peter Page again. Up to now, she was still quite calm. It wasn't strange for her to have this inertial thinking, although children from wealthy families often complained that they only had money, but no love. It was undeniable that those who were surrounded by money were lucky, regardless of whether they were truly happy or not. Naturally, most of their friends were also from the same circle. However, Peter Page's face stiffened for a moment before he said, "She's not. She's just a friend I met at a restaurant before." The word of friend was really interesting. People who had only met once could be called friends, and the opposite sex who were close to each other could also be friends. Luna didn't mean to expose him, but her sister didn't seem to gêne Peter Page's explanation. "What kind of friend is so intimate? You don't even dare to admit that you're cheating. Are you even a man too?" It could be seen that Lily Woods didn't approve of this engagement. When it was first arranged, she had also objected. Peter Page had a reputation for being a playboy before getting engaged to Luna. But for rich people who were spiritually empty, it seemed understandable that they wanted to experience the excitement brought by the opposite sex. It was a consensual thing. Moreover, the two families had a 2-year cooperation project, and there were still about 6 months left. It wouldn't be too late to talk about any changes later, but Lily Woods didn't know these things. She thought Luna really liked Peter Page. The counselor and the police officers present were relieved to know that they knew each other. Since it's a personal conflict, solve it privately and don't fight again. Peter Page's act of calling the police was actually a bit impulsive. He clearly knew that according to the relationship between the two families, even if the matter got bigger, his family would persuade him to let it go. Besides, in this matter, he was clearly in the wrong. Just because they didn't expose him in public didn't mean that this matter didn't need to be solved. Solve it unexpectedly. But Peter Page still had anger on his face. He pointed at Lily Woods and said, "She has to apologize to me." 5. Peter Page hadn't been such a shameless person before. Luna looked at him, calmly held back her sister, who wanted to speak, and said in a calm tone, "Peter, do you need my sister to apologize for hitting you because of your cheating?" Before Peter Page could speak, the girl beside him looked at Luna timidly. "Sister, Peter Page and I are not in that kind of relationship. Please don't misunderstand." Sister Luna's biological sister was about to get angry. Luna pointed at Lily Woods, who was as angry as a little angry bird beside her, and said, "Miss, my sister is right here. Don't call me that randomly." Finally, Peter Page said triumphantly, "Terry, Luna Woods, how long are you going to keep treating this imposter as your sister? Didn't your parents tell you? Lily Woods isn't your biological sister. She is. He pointed at the girl beside him who had an ambiguous relationship with him. Luna paused for a moment. Her gaze fell on Peter Page and the girl beside him, and she looked at them with new eyes, vaguely guessing the girl's identity. Before she could say anything, Lily Woods spoke first. Vidi, what nonsense are you talking about? Are you making up stories just because you're cheating? I'm not my sister's biological sister, and she is too. Yes, in a warm and harmonious family, no one would absurdly think that they were not their parents' biological children or their sister's biological sister. Then the timid girl started crying, looking at Luna with grievance, as if she was looking at the sister who should belong to her but was caring for others at the moment. Luna was stunned for a moment. The quarrel between Peter Page and Lily Woods continued. Luna didn't know where his resentment towards her sister came from. He pointed at Lily and said to Tilly, Lily Woods, don't you know that it was your biological mother who swapped you and Joanna Johnson when you were just born? You're not from the Woods family at all. Joanna Johnson. Luna remembered that her parents had told her the name of the girl who came to claim kinship. So it was her. Luna didn't expect that the girl was in the same university as Lily Wood. Luna lowered her eyes and thought about it in connection with this matter.
What role did Peter Page play in it at the moment? They were still at the police station.
Lily Woods' counselor and other police officers were also there. Most importantly, there were several of Lily Woods' friends, all from the same circle. At first, Luna hadn't even thought of letting her sister know about this matter before the truth came out. But now so many people knew about it. Lily Woods still thought that Peter Page was talking nonsense. But then he pointed at Luna and said, "Take, you don't believe it, ask your sister. Your parents couldn't have kept such a big thing from her." However, only then did Lily Woods look at Luna. But after all, she was Luna's sister since she was a child. When her parents were busy, she always followed Luna. No one knew better than her how to read Luna's expression. Sister is what he said. True, very just as Lily Woods understood Luna. Luna also understood her. In just a few seconds, she must have imagined many situations. Now she was observing Luna's expression, trying to find the answer from it. Luna's brief silence seemed to reveal the answer. Lily Woods' eyes turned red again, not because of anger, but because of disbelief, sadness, and a sense of the absurdity of the unpredictability of fate. She was at a loss. Sick. Luna looked at Peter Page coldly. Before she could say anything, Joanna Johnson beside him spoke again. "Gay sister, do you only want her as your sister? Peter Page and I just met by chance. He helped me when I heard that he knew you and your parents. I asked him to help me meet your parents. There," she said. So that's how it was. Luna thought that her parents were so low-key that even she didn't necessarily know their daily schedules. She wondered how Joanna Johnson managed to find them. Joanna Johnson was full of grievance and unwillingness. Luna could see her dissatisfaction with Lily Woods and her hatred for the person who had occupied her 20 years of prosperity. Even though she hid it well, a trace of it still inevitably showed. "I remember my parents would have made an appointment with you to do a paternity test tomorrow. Before the result comes out, I have no reason to think that you're my biological sister," Luna said. This sentence was equivalent to admitting what Peter Page had said. It was really hard to describe the expression on Lily Woods' face with mixed feelings. She didn't even know what reaction she should make at the moment. Her friends looked at the scene in amazement. "Peter, you're meddling too much," Luna stated the fact. However, Peter Page reacted strongly. "Tess, I originally thought you were just a bit cold in personality. I didn't expect you to be so cold-blooded that you wouldn't even recognize your own biological sister and only wanted an imposter." Cold in personality. Maybe when it came to this fiancé, Luna naturally couldn't be as considerate as the women he had been with before. She was so lucky to be born into a wealthy family, not to be a virtuous wife and loving mother for a man. Compared with the open and hidden struggles among the younger generation of the Page family, the Woods family's industries only belonged to Luna and Lily Wood. Since they were young, they had been educated to have absolute say. "Peter Yilly," Luna suddenly said, "Dear, you don't care about your own sister, but come to care about mine." He was at a loss for words for a moment. When he was about to say something else, Luna had already turned to Lily Woods and said, "Tisa, Lily, let's go home." On the way back, Luna called her parents and told them what had happened today. She also reminded them to remember to take Joanna Johnson to do the test tomorrow. Lily Woods was like a wilted flower, no longer lively. She was silent, as if she'd gone back to the time when her idol had a scandal in junior high school. Her parents were both at home when they saw Luna bringing Lily Woods back. They tried hard to pretend to care about the children as usual and asked them to have dinner. But Lily Woods was really silent and didn't like to talk anymore. Her parents were really worried. At night, before Luna was about to go to bed, there was a knock on the bedroom door. "Come in," Luna said. The door was pushed open. Her 20-year-old sister was standing outside, hugging the stuffed toy that she always slept with. It was a small gift that Luna had given her when she was a teenager. Since then, she'd been hugging it to sleep. Luna looked up and it seemed that she'd gone back to the time when Lily was in primary school. The little girl was also hugging this stuffed toy and came to say that she wanted to sleep with Luna. "Sister, can I sleep with you tonight?" "Dear," Lily would ask. Although they hadn't slept together for several years, Luna still said, "Come in, come in." A trace of imperceptible joy flashed across Lily Woods' face. Soon, she lay down on Luna's bed. She didn't say anything, as if she'd just come to sleep with her sister. Luna had a good memory and remembered what Lily was like when she was a child. She used to be talkative and cheerful. When she slept with Luna, she would also chatter a lot and finally fall asleep in a day. But tonight she was very quiet. However, it seemed that she couldn't fall asleep either. After turning off the lights, although she didn't move much, Luna knew her. She didn't usually sleep so quietly. After a long time, when Luna was about to fall asleep, she suddenly heard Lily's voice. "Sister, come. What if I'm really not Mom and Dad's child?" "You are," Luna said. "I mean, if Lily Woods said there's no elf," Luna said firmly. 7. They had made an appointment to do the paternity test. Luna and her parents went to pick up Joanna Johnson. They saw Peter Page, who was pulling and tugging with her in the house. When they saw someone coming in, both of them looked flustered for a moment. "Peter, why are you here?" Her father's face didn't look good. Luna had mentioned Peter Page to him yesterday, but she hadn't mentioned this situation. Peter Page still put on an appearance of a junior in front of Luna's parent. "Uncle Aunt Joanna said she was a bit scared, so I came to have a look and go to the testing center with her, by the way. Anyway, we'll all be family in the future," he said. "Family?" Luna sneered. She didn't know what method this girl had used to make Peter Page believe that she was the lost youngest daughter of the Woods family. Peter Page's behavior was overstepping the bounds in Luna's family's eye. After all, he was still Luna's nominal fiancé. Even if he wanted to accompany Joanna Johnson, he shouldn't have come to Joanna's residence alone. Moreover, this residence belonged to Luna's parent. Today's trip was very private. Since Peter Page wanted to accompany them, he could be the driver. Joanna Johnson was sitting in the back seat, quietly talking about her experiences over the year. She said that her adoptive mother treated her very badly. Since primary school, she had been forced to do all kinds of housework and was often beaten and scolded. Her adoptive father was an alcoholic and also took her as a punching bag. As she grew older, they even thought about marrying her off in exchange for a betrothal gift. She studied very hard and managed to get into college. At first hearing, she was really a pitiful girl. Luna's personality made it impossible for her to fully believe one side's story. A common trait of human nature was that everyone would selectively tell things that were beneficial to themselves. "Then how did you know your real identity?" Luna suddenly asked. Joanna Johnson wasn't surprised that someone asked this question. Perhaps she had already told others about it before. "Last year when I went home, I accidentally saw my mother. My adoptive mother's phone, there were some photos of Lily Woods that she secretly took in it, and some other photo. She named that photo albums, My Dear Daughters. I saw that there was a jade pendant around Lily's neck in the photo, which was exactly the same as mine. Later, when she was drunk, she cursed and said that her daughter was enjoying a prosperous life in a wealthy family. While the daughter of the wealthy family was serving her, Joanna Johnson added, he had asked my adoptive father about it, and he said that I still had a few days to go before my due date when I was born, but she insisted on giving birth on that day." This story sounded so real. The jade pendant on Joanna Johnson's neck wasn't fake. Luna's parents couldn't help but put themselves in her shoes. When they thought that their biological daughter had suffered all this, their hearts ached. "Before you came to my parents, didn't you plan to do paternity tests with your parents first to confirm whether you were your biological parents' child?" Luna asked again. Joanna Johnson froze for a moment and stammered, "Sigh, I didn't think of it for a moment." That's right, on one side was the possibility of becoming a rich young lady. And on the other side was an ordinary family where her parents didn't love her. Anyone would subconsciously avoid the latter. "Luna, that's enough." Derek Page, who was driving, said, "Very tough. What have you been questioning your sister? Whether to recognize her or not depends on blood relation. You can't target her just because you have a good relationship with Lily Woods, can you?" Luna smiled and said, "Yes, it depends on blood relation." Then let the result of the paternity test speak for itself. The result of the paternity test would take 3 days. There was a banquet to attend the next day. It was the 18th birthday party of the little princess of the King family. The whole Woods family was invited. The two families also had some friendship, so of course they had to give this faith. Lily Woods had a better relationship with the birthday girl. They were only 2 years apart. Her parents were socializing with the elders of the King family. Luna just greeted them briefly and then found a quiet place to drink. Lily Woods had been pulled aside by the birthday girl to chat privately just now. She had probably been in a bad mood these 2 days. She had hidden herself and cried several times. Every time Luna asked her, she said she was okay. Luna Woods, someone suddenly called her from behind. Luna turned around and saw who it was. Then she calmly turned back. See, Jonathan King. Long time no see too. Jonathan King was wearing a black shirt with 2 unbuttoned buttons, making his collarbone faintly visible. There was a silver necklace around his neck, which was very eye-catching. He slowly walked over and even impolitely leaned over from behind, put his hands on the railing in front of Luna, and surrounded her in a very close distance. Jonathan King, Luna warned. The man behind her didn't let go but said in a very affectionate tone, "Hey, I saw your fiancé bring a girl in. It seemed that he wanted to bully your sister." "What does it have to do with you?" Luna said coldly. "I also saw Peter Page holding another woman's hand." Taga, he chuckled. "In the past, you would be unhappy even if others just looked at me a few more times. Now has your possessiveness been cured by taking medicine?" A qualified ex should be as quiet as if dead. Luna and Jonathan King had been in a relationship when they were in college. They had just become adults at that time. It was their first relationship, and they had put a lot of feelings into it. Both of them had strong possessiveness later. They broke up because of some quarrel. He went abroad for further studies, and Luna didn't contact him either. They were the same kind of people, ambitious and unwilling to bow their heads, and wouldn't let love hold back their career progress. So when he went abroad, Luna didn't stop him. However, on the night when Luna got engaged to Peter Page last year, he called. Luna answered the call but didn't say anything. He was also silent. After a long while, he suddenly said, "Ted, do you like him?" "Ted." Luna said, "Ted, it has nothing to do with you." Then Jonathan King said very firmly, "Dang, he's not the one you like. You won't last long with him, Dang." Luna hung up the phone. She hated men who were more confident than her the most. Now it seemed that he was right. This engagement couldn't even last 2 years. "When did you come back to the country, Soy?" Luna asked. "I just landed this morning," Jonathan King said. It seemed that he really cared about his sister's coming-of-age ceremony. Let go. "I'm going down to check the situation." From where Luna was standing, she could see some commotion downstairs. Jonathan King didn't move away. He said, "Turo, don't worry. I've told James King. If anyone bullies Lily Woods, she doesn't have to show mercy. Even if she hits someone, it'll be on me. No one can bully your sister." Luna turned around to face him. Jonathan King, what do you mean? Do you want to be a homewrecker?" He lowered his head and touched his forehead against Luna. "Well, Peter Page doesn't deserve you. He won't be able to inherit the Page family. His ability is even worse than that of his own sister, not to mention his cousin. His engagement with you is just to increase his chips. Why do you choose such a disloyal partner?" "I'm different in business. I'm an honest businesswoman. In private, I've only been with you. I'm much cleaner than him." There, he said. Luna thought to herself that he had really gone bad after going abroad. He'd become so outspoken. Night. Luna still pushed Jonathan King away and went downstairs to check the situation, but she was too late. The dispute just now seemed to have come to a temporary end. However, the people around looked at Luna in surprise as if they wanted to ask her something, but didn't dare to. When passing through the crowd, Luna vaguely heard her name and her sister's name, and there were also some words like seer, the real, and fake daughters. Peter Page had brought Joanna Johnson at Jonathan King's coming-of-age ceremony. Before that, the story about Lily Woods and Joanna Johnson's identities had already spread. Maybe it was Peter Page who spread it, or maybe it was Lily Woods' friends. Anyway, Peter Page was the main culprit. Luna didn't know where her parents had gone. Lily Woods should be with the birthday girl. Luna walked towards the lounge. The corridor was covered with carpets, and her high heels made no sound when stepping on it. When passing by a door that was slightly ajar, Luna heard Peter Page's voice coming from inside. He said, "Joanna, since you're from the Woods family, you'll naturally have a share of the Woods family's property. After the paternity test result comes out, Lily Woods will naturally lose the right to inherit. Luna Woods doesn't like you as her sister anyway. Why should you care about her?" Another female voice rang out, "Dear, but I don't know how to manage the company." "It doesn't matter, I'll help you." "How can that be? You're my sister's fiancé." Luna didn't know what physical contact had happened inside. There was a moment of silence, and then Peter Page said to Lady Joanna, "You should be able to see that I don't like your sister. Our engagement was just because of the cooperation between our families. If you return to the Woods family, you and I can be together. Don't you like me?" Peter Page's words reminded Luna of the time after they got engaged last year. He sent flowers to her company every day, picked her up from work very attentively, and invited her to dinner. However, Luna didn't like this kind of utilitarian contact. After a few times, she made it clear to him, Since they were people without feelings for each other, what emotional value could she give him at that time? He didn't seem to be in a state of not liking her. But later, probably because he didn't get a response from her, he became cold towards her. Before, Luna didn't quite understand why Peter Page wanted to interfere in this matter. Now she understood. His original intention of getting engaged to her wasn't to increase his chips for inheriting the Page family. He had his eyes on the Woods family's property. The term taking advantage of a wealthy family without an heir was quite new to Luna. After all, since she was a child, her parents had educated her and her sister that they should never rely on men or let men take advantage of them. Inside the room, the girl who thought she had won the heart of a wealthy young master was still listening to the beautiful life he described. Luna quietly left the spot. As soon as she turned around, she saw Jonathan King standing not far away with a smile in his eye. "It seems that your family has been quite lively lately," Jonathan King said after leaving the corridor. "If you want to watch a good show, go to the theater," Luna retorted ungraciously. "When are you going to break off the engagement with him?" Jonathan King asked again. Luna looked at him and said, "Time? When did I say I would break off the engagement? Even if I do, what does it have to do with you? A mistress should always be ready to take the place." Bailey suddenly grabbed Luna's hand and kissed the back of it. Luna thought to herself that going abroad had really made his morals decline. Luna dragged her crying sister out of the birthday girl's room and took her home. "What's there to cry about?" Luna handed Lily Woods a tissue. "I've told you that you're my sister." The little girl with swollen eyes looked up at Luna and started crying again. "What if I'm really not? You didn't see Peter Page and Joanna Johnson. They must have something going on. What if she returns to our family and listens to Peter Page's instigation to oppose you? Peter Page is your fiancé. He's protecting Joanna Johnson so much, he must want to take advantage of her ignorance and persuade her to compete with you for the family property." People's hearts were always biased. The Woods family had too much property. Even if it was divided between Luna and Lily Woods, there would be more than enough. Lily Woods was playful and hadn't yet set her mind to managing the company. After all, life was long. Luna and her parents weren't in a hurry to let her learn to manage the company either. The original plan was to let her gradually take over some affairs after graduating from college. Luna stroked her sister's head and sighed softly. "The result will come out in 2 days. You're definitely our biological daughter." Both her parents and Lily Woods didn't understand where Luna's confidence came from. Since Luna couldn't explain the memory from when she was 5 years old, she still planned to let the paternity test shut everyone up. Lily Woods might think that Luna agreed to let Joanna Johnson and her parents do the paternity test because she had doubts in her heart. In fact, it wasn't the case. It was just that this was the simplest way to solve this matter. Some people should reap what they sowed, even if it hadn't affected her family in the past 20 years. However, Luna underestimated the ugliness of some people's nature. On the day Lily Woods went back to school, she encountered some trouble at school. A teacher friend of hers at the university forwarded the school's confession wall to her. The content on the confession wall was as follows. "The sophomore majoring in finance is really calm. Usually she spends extravagantly, but unexpectedly she's a fake daughter who's occupied someone else's plate. In this situation, she still has the mood to go to class. When your biological mother swapped a baby in the hospital 20 years ago, did she ever think that the real daughter would be able to enter the same university as you? The imposter has enjoyed 20 years of prosperity for nothing." The friend said, "Luna, this is about Lily, right? How did the news of your family's affairs spread so quickly and even reach the school? It's unreasonable." It was indeed unreasonable. Normal people wouldn't publicize something that had a negative impact on themselves, so it definitely wasn't Lily Woods. Then it must be Joanna Johnson. The friend as a teacher had added many students on social media. Soon she saw that some people were echoing each other and were about to reveal the identity of the protagonists in the story. Luna asked her to contact someone to delete the content on the confession wall. "I'll owe you a favor. I'll treat you to dinner when I'm free." The friend laughed and said, "It's nothing. This kind of unconfirmed thing shouldn't be posted in the first place. I'll contact the relevant teachers and ask the students in charge of the confession wall to delete it." However, the friend reminded her, even if it's deleted, it probably won't be able to stop the rumor. Luna understood. She just didn't understand why, since Joanna Johnson was so sure that she was the one who had been maliciously swapped. She didn't even have the patience to wait for the result of the paternity test these few days. Luna took her parents to the house in East Lake District to meet Joanna Johnson. After what happened last night, she had asked Lily Woods to ask for leave and go home. Even without evidence, people had already believed the story of the real and fake daughters through the internet. Lily Woods was the head of a certain club at school, and her contact information wasn't a secret. After being leaked by someone with ulterior motives, people had started to harass her since last night. They added her as friends to abuse her or directly called to scold her. Luna hadn't had time to deal with this matter yet. She had even confiscated Lily Woods' mobile phone. So now Lily could only pass the time at home with a tablet that logged into an account that didn't belong to her. Luna didn't mean to prevent her from facing social risks, but this kind of unexpected disaster should be dealt with by her relatives accompanying her. When Joanna Johnson saw Luna and her parents, she immediately put on a smile and said, "Dee Dad, Mom's sister." She accepted her new relatives much faster than expected. Luna's parents were still not used to her addressing them like that. They wanted to say something, but were afraid of hurting her feeling. As parents, they actually hadn't been unqualified. Therefore, before the results of the paternity test came out, they were still worried about that possibility. Only Luna wasn't affected. After exchanging a few greetings, she calmly asked, "Joanna Johnson, have you seen the content on your school's confession wall?" Her face stiffened for a moment, and then she asked in a puzzled tone, "No. What's the matter, sister?" "Someone anonymously posted something about you and Lily Woods on your school's confession wall." Every word was full of malice towards her. "I've already asked someone to delete the confession wall, but many people have already found out about it and started to scold her. Do you know about that?" Luna had been watching Joanna Johnson's expression all the time. When she said the latter part, her eyes didn't look very natural. There might even be a trace of schadenfreude. "I don't know about this." Joanne. Johnson's eyes suddenly turned red. "Sister, do you mean that you think I posted it on the confession wall? Do you think I'm that kind of person in your and Dad and Mom's heart?" Luna's mother spoke first. "Joanna, what Luna means is whether you told your classmates or friends about this matter." She hesitated for a moment and then said in a low voice after a while, "Paprika mentioned to my roommates before. Maybe they were just trying to stand up for me." Luna had observed the comments under that post on the confession wall, and it was indeed possible that they were people who had a good relationship with Joanna Johnson. Before the result of the paternity test comes out, it's really too hasty to publicize this matter. Luna's father thought for a while and finally couldn't help but say that. It wasn't a harsh word, but it somehow hit a nerve of Joanna Johnson. Her tears started to fall down. "Dad, do you also suspect that I deliberately did this, whether I did it intentionally or unintentionally? Isn't it true that Lily Woods has occupied my 20 years of life? I should have been the one raised by you and loved by you as your daughter and sister. Can't I resent her?" "But even if you were really swapped 20 years ago, Lily Woods was just born at that time. She couldn't control her own life, and she didn't even know her own identity. You should resent the people who caused all this and your parents who didn't protect you." "Well, that is us," stays Luna's father sighed. "But she's the one who has benefited from it." Joanna Johnson sat down on the ground with a trace of unwillingness in her eye. "Even now, you still treat her as your daughter, don't you? Everything she has should have been mine." Her emotions were so real that even Luna's parents thought that she didn't seem to be lying. Indeed, she wasn't. Joanna Johnson was immersed in the story of her life being swapped, truly resenting the person who had taken her place for 20 years and the culprit who had caused all it. "What are you doing?" Peter Page, who didn't know when he had come in, walked straight over, helped Joanna Johnson up, and gently wiped the tears from her face with a distressed look. Then he turned around, still with a hint of anger on his face, and said to Luna's parents, to her uncle, and to her elders, "But you can't scold Joanna just because you're a parent. She suffered so much outside. She finally came back, but instead of feeling the warmth of home, you're blaming her because of someone who has no blood relationship with her?" As if echoing Peter Page's words, the tears on Joanna Johnson's face fell down again, making her look pitiful and lovable. "Joanna Johnson, did you tell Peter Page the password of this house?" Luna suddenly asked, breaking the atmosphere. She was very sure that she had closed the door when she came in. The two people mentioned froze for a moment, and Luna's parents finally realized how abrupt Peter Page's appearance here was. He had accompanied them for the paternity test once, and now he suddenly showed up again. It was really hard not to be suspicious. "Peter, why are you here?" Luna's mother frowned and asked. Joanna Johnson's voice was still choked with sobs, but she couldn't help but try to cover up and said, Mom, I told Peter Page I wasn't used to it here before he came to see me. I thought he was my sister's fiancé, and we would all be family in the future, so I told him." Luna's parents were not fools, except that they were in an awkward situation regarding their daughter's affairs at the moment. "So you also know that he's my fiancé," Luna said calmly. "Is my fiancé doesn't even know the password of my residence, but he knows yours. Is that reasonable?" Sister Peter Page couldn't bear to see a beauty being blamed. He said to me, "'Cause Luna, how can you slander your sister like this? I'm innocent with her. I just came to have a look," Joanna Johnson said. "Innocent? Have you two made a private commitment?" Luna didn't believe it. she said casually, and then added before they could speak, T, unless you let me see your chat records. The two of them fell silent again. Still, Peter Page spoke first. Stay, Luna. Don't you trust me at all now, or do you want to break off the engagement? This guy really liked to blame others for what he wanted to do, but it saved Luna the trouble of dealing with this matter later. Okay, Belle, Luna, sure to look at her parents. Whenever I'm dead, please make an appointment with the Page family. Let's settle this matter today, so as not to delay other people's relationships. Luna's parents had clearly seen that Peter Page was not a good man. In the past, if Luna wanted to break off the engagement, they would surely persuade her to think twice and at least wait until the cooperation project between the two families was completed in a few months. But today happened to be different when they thought that Joanna Johnson might be their daughter and that Peter Page wanted to get involved with her. They couldn't wait to solve this matter. At their age, they could clearly see what Peter Page was aiming at. His ambition was too big, but his ability didn't match it. Peter Page was just saying it casually. At first, he didn't expect that Luna's parents would agree, so he was stunned for a moment. But then perhaps thinking of something, or seeing the joy in Joanna Johnson's eyes, he didn't intend to stop it. 13. The Page family was reluctant to break off the engagement at first. But after Peter Page said something to them, the elders of the Page family became amiable when they met. Since the two children didn't like each other, they agreed to break off the engagement, and each could marry someone else in the future. Peter Page's mother didn't change her attitude towards Luna's parents too much. She smiled and said to them, "Hey, it's a pity that we can't become a family this time. I hope our two families will have a chance to get closer in the future." These were all just polite words. Both sides maintained a friendly attitude regarding the cooperation matter. Breaking off the engagement was actually a simple thing, as long as both sides reached a consensus and then announced it to relatives and friends. The engagement could be broken off. That night, Jonathan King's call came. "Hello, Miss Woods. I heard that you're single now. What does it have to do with you?" The man on the other end of the phone chuckled clear. "Of course it has something to do with me. The position is vacant. Now I'm trying to fill it. When your family's affairs are settled, come out and have dinner with me. I really miss you." Teresa's voice was a bit low. Damn it, he used to be so arrogant. Who did he learn to act coquettishly from? Luna hung up the phone. On the third day, the result of the paternity test came out. They decided to go to the appraisal institution to get the paper report in person and announce the answer on the spot. Naturally, all the people involved needed to be present. Luna, her parents Lily Woods, Joanna Johnson, and for some reason, Peter Page also followed as if he wanted to support Joanna Johnson, but it didn't matter. Lily Woods. We're all very nervous, as if the appraisal report was bound to overturn the peace and warmth of their family. When the appraisal result was handed to Luna, everyone's eyes also fell on it. Luna looked at Joanna Johnson and said in a calm tone, "To your Joanna Johnson, this is a paternity test report issued by the Judicial Appraisal Institution. There's no possibility of forgery, you should know that, right, T?" Joanna Johnson didn't understand why Luna said this, but she nodded and said, "Play no." Luna, don't keep us in suspense. Open it quickly, Baker Page urged impatiently beside her. It could be seen that he was really eager to become a member of the Woods family. Luna was just about to open it when suddenly a middle-aged woman with disheveled hair rushed in. She looked around and then immediately locked her eyes on Joanna Johnson, shouting and rushing forward to hit her. "You little bitch, you're so bold. You abandon your own parents and try to snatch others as parents." Terry the woman slapped Joanna Johnson as soon as she came up. Joanna Johnson covered her face and screamed. The woman wanted to hit her again, but Peter Page stopped her. He frowned and said sternly, "T, who are you? How dare you hit someone?" T. The middle-aged woman raised her eyes. There was an inescapable meanness in her eyes. "Phil, I'm her mother." Peter Page reacted, naturally. Luna's parents also stepped forward to stop her. After all, the result hadn't been announced yet. "Joanna Johnson, you come home with me right now." Ela woman roared. Joanna Johnson shrank back behind Peter Page, crying and shouting, "Faye, I'm not going back. You're not my real mother. I'm from the Woods family." The scene was chaotic for a while. Luna took a step back to avoid being accidentally bumped into and said coldly, "T, everyone, calm down. Let's first see what the paternity test results said." With that, she opened the report in front of everyone. Her eyes quickly scanned the content on it, and then a faint smile appeared on her lip. She looked at Joanna Johnson and said, "Clearly, the result shows that you have no blood relationship with my parents at all." Joanna Johnson's face turned pale in an instant. She couldn't believe it and snatched the report from Luna's hand, looking at it carefully as if she could change the result by staring at it hard enough. Peter Page was also stunned. He didn't expect this result at all. His plan to get a share of the Woods family's property through Joanna Johnson seemed to have come to nothing all of a sudden. Luna's parents also had relieved smiles on their faces. They walked over to comfort Lily Woods and then looked at Joanna Johnson with a bit of pity in their eye. "Joanna, we're sorry that you've gone through so much, but this result shows that you're really not our daughter, Ray Luna's father," said gently.
The middle-aged woman sneered and said, "Tay, I told you long ago that you're not some rich family's daughter. You're just daydreaming. Now come home with me."
She stepped forward to pull Joanna Johnson, but Joanna Johnson pushed her away hard and shouted, No, there must be something wrong with this test. I'm the real daughter of the Woods family." Peter Page finally came to his senses and said, "Tay, maybe there was a mistake in the test. We can do another one." Luna looked at him with disdain and said, "Terry, do you think the Judicial Appraisal Institution is a place that makes mistakes so easily? Accept the reality. Peter Page, your little plan has failed." At this time, the staff of the appraisal institution also came over to explain that their tests were all carried out in strict accordance with the procedures and there was no possibility of error. Joanna Johnson slumped to the ground, crying hysterically. She couldn't accept that the beautiful life she had envisioned had completely collapsed. 14. After the truth came out, the atmosphere was a bit strained. Peter Page's face was ashen. He didn't know what to say for a moment. He had been so confident before, thinking that he could get a piece of the Woods family's property through Joanna Johnson. Now he felt like a joke. Luna's parents comforted Lily Woods for a while and then turned to Joanna Johnson. Although she wasn't their daughter, they still felt a bit sorry for her after hearing about her difficult life experience. "Joanna, although you're not our biological daughter, if you need any help in the future, you can come to us," Darluna's mother said kindly. But Joanna Johnson didn't appreciate it at all. She glared at them with red eyes and said bitterly, saying, "I don't need your false kindness. You've ruined my life." She then pointed at Lily Woods and said, "Stay. It's all because of you. You've taken everything that should have been mine." Lily Woods was a bit scared by her fierce look and hid behind Luna. Luna stepped forward and protected her sister. She said coldly, Joanna Johnson, it's not Lily's fault. She didn't know anything about this from the beginning, and you should face the reality. You're not a member of our family, and you can't force it." Peter Page, who had been silent for a while, suddenly said, "Sigh, Luna, this might be a misunderstanding. Maybe there's something wrong with the test process. We can find a more authoritative institution to do another test." Luna sneered and said, Peter Page, don't be so delusional. The result is already clear. You should worry about yourself now. Without the engagement with me and without Joanna Johnson's connection to the Woods family, what are you going to do? Peter Page's face turned even uglier. He knew that Luna was right. His family had always hoped that he could build a good relationship with the Woods family through the engagement to gain more benefits in business. Now that everything had fallen through, he would surely face a lot of criticism from his family. But just then, Jonathan King walked in. He looked around the scene and then walked up to Luna with a smile. "I heard there was a lot of excitement here. I came to see if you needed any help," he said. Luna gave him a look and said, "Ty, I don't need your help. We've already got the result." Jonathan King glanced at the paternity test report in Luna's hand and then said, "Okay, well, it seems that the truth has come out. Some people's little schemes have all come to nothing." He deliberately looked at Peter Page when he said this, which made Peter Page even more embarrassed. "Come on, let's go home," Luna said to her parents and Lilywood. As they were leaving, Joanna Johnson suddenly shouted from behind, "Hey, you can't just leave like this. I won't give up. I'll find a way to prove that I'm the real daughter of the Woods family." But no one paid attention to her. They walked out of the appraisal institution with a sense of relief. 15. After getting rid of the trouble caused by Joanna Johnson and Peter Page, life in the Woods family gradually returned to normal. Lily Woods went back to school. Although there were still some rumors floating around for a while with the support of her friends and the truth on her side, those rumors gradually dissipated. She was still the lively and carefree girl she used to be, focusing on her studies and club activity. Luna was busy with the family business as usual. The cooperation project with the Page family was coming to an end, although there were some small bumps in the process because of the broken engagement. Both sides still managed to complete it in an orderly manner with a professional attitude. One day, Luna received a call from Jonathan King. "Miss Woods, I haven't seen you for a while. Are you free tonight? I'd like to invite you to dinner," Tacy said in a gentle voice. Luna thought for a moment and then said, "Oh, why should I go to dinner with you?" Jonathan King chuckled and said, "Well, we've known each other for so long. We can just catch up and chat. Besides, I think we might have some misunderstandings in the past that we can clear up." Luna remembered their past relationship. They did have some good memories, but also a lot of quarrels and breakup. She wasn't sure if it was a good idea to have dinner with him. Come on, just give me a chance. I promise I won't make you uncomfortable. Jonathan King continued to persuade. Finally, Luna agreed. She thought that maybe it was time to have a proper chat with him and put the past behind them. That night at the appointed restaurant, Jonathan King was already waiting for her. He was dressed in a suit, looking very handsome and elegant. When Luna walked in, he immediately stood up and pulled out the chair for her with a smile. You look beautiful tonight. Luna sat down and said, Sorry, let's not waste time with these empty compliments. What do you really want to talk about? Jonathan King sat down opposite her and said, Very well. First of all, I want to apologize for my behavior before. I was too impulsive and immature back then. I hope you can forgive me. Luna was a bit surprised. She didn't expect him to be so sincere. Okay, I accept your apology, she said. Then they started chatting about their lives in recent years, their work, and their hobby. To Luna's surprise, they still had a lot in common. They both liked reading business books, traveling to different places to experience different cultures, and they also had similar views on many business issues. As the dinner went on, the atmosphere became more and more relaxed. Suddenly, Jonathan King looked at Luna seriously and said, Gee, Luna, now that we're both single, do you think we could give our relationship another try? Luna was taken aback. She didn't expect him to be so straightforward. She thought for a moment and then said, I don't know. We've heard each other before. I'm not sure if we can really start over. Jonathan King reached across the table and took Luna's hand. He said softly, I'm willing to work hard to make it work this time. I've learned a lot in the past few years. I won't make the same mistakes again. Luna looked at him. There was a hint of hesitation in her eyes, but also a glimmer of hope. 16. Luna didn't immediately give Jonathan King an answer. She withdrew her hand and said, let's not rush into this. We can take our time and see how things develop. Jonathan King nodded, respecting her decision. I'm sure we can take it slow. I just hope you'll give me a chance to prove myself. After dinner, Jonathan King sent Luna home at the door of her house. He said softly, good night. Luna, I'll call you tomorrow. Luna nodded and went inside. Her parents and Lily Woods were in the living room, watching television. When they saw her come in, they asked casually where she had been. Luna told them that she had dinner with Jonathan King. Lily Woods' eyes widened with excitement. Sister, are you getting back together with him? I remember you two used to be so in love when you were in college. Jealous, she said. Luna shook her head and said, Sorry, we're just having a chat and getting to know each other again. There's nothing definite yet. Her parents exchanged a look. They knew about Luna's past relationship with Jonathan King and were a bit worried. Luna, you should be careful. You've been hurt before. Don't rush into things. Her father said. Luna smiled and said, no, Dad. I won't be impulsive. Over the next few days, Jonathan King kept his promise and called Luna every day. He would tell her about interesting things that happened at work or share some interesting news he read. They also went out for coffee or took a walk in the park a few times when they were both free. Slowly, Luna found herself looking forward to seeing him and talking to him. She started to feel that maybe they could really give their relationship another try. One weekend, Jonathan King invited Luna to go on a short trip to a nearby scenic spot. Luna agreed. During the trip, they had a great time. They climbed mountains, visited ancient temples, and took many beautiful pictures together. At night, they sat by the campfire and talked about their dreams and aspirations. Looking at Jonathan King's smiling face in the firelight, Luna felt a warmth in her heart that she hadn't felt in a long time. When they got back from the trip, Luna knew that she had fallen in love with him again. She decided to give their relationship a real chance. She called Jonathan King and told him her decision. Jonathan King was overjoyed. Dear Luna, you won't regret it. I'll love you with all my heart and make you the happiest woman in the world. And so Luna and Jonathan King officially got back together. Their relationship was more stable and mature this time. They supported each other in their work and life, and their love grew deeper day by day. The Woods family was also happy for them. Lily Woods even joked that she was looking forward to having a big wedding to attend soon. Life went on smoothly for Luna and Jonathan King. They faced challenges together, shared joys and sorrows, and walked hand in hand towards a bright future. 17. As Luna and Jonathan King's relationship grew deeper, they started to integrate into each other's lives more and more. Jonathan King would often accompany Luna to business dinners and introduce her to his business partner. His extensive network and sharp business acumen also provided a lot of help for Luna in her career. Luna, on the other hand, would give Jonathan King some advice on how to manage his family's business better, and her unique insights always made him feel enlightened. One day, they were discussing a new business opportunity together. It was a project related to the emerging technology field. Luna had done a lot of research beforehand and was very interested in it. Luna, I think this project has great potential, but the risks are also quite high. We need to consider it carefully, Daily Jonathan King said as he looked at the project material. Luna nodded and said to Elaine, I know that if we can make good use of our resources and find reliable partners to share the risks, it might be a huge success. They spent a whole afternoon analyzing the market situation, competitors, and possible profit model. Finally, they decided to jointly invest in this project and started to make preparation. During the process of promoting the project, they encountered many difficulties. Some investors were skeptical about the new technology and were reluctant to invest. Some suppliers were asking for higher prices because they thought it was a new and promising area. But Luna and Jonathan King didn't give up. They visited one investor after another, explained the advantages and prospects of the project in detail, and negotiated with suppliers to strive for more reasonable prices. After several months of hard work, the project finally started to operate smoothly. They began to see profits gradually, and their efforts were rewarded. At the same time, Lily Woods was also making progress in her study. She won several awards in some professional competitions at school and was recommended by her professors to participate in an internship in a well-known financial institution. Luna and Jonathan King were very proud of her. They would often encourage her and tell her that as long as she continued to work hard, she would definitely have a bright future in the business world. 18. However, just when everything seemed to be going well, an unexpected thing happened. One morning, Luna received a call from an unfamiliar number. When she picked it up, a strange voice came from the other end. Miss Woods, you think you've won completely, but you're too naive. Do you really think Joanna Johnson is just an ordinary girl who wants to recognize her relative? Luna frowned and said, Who are you? What do you mean? The person on the other end of the phone laughed coldly and said, Ted, you'll know soon. You and your family will pay for what you've done. After that, the call was hung up. Luna felt a sense of unease in her heart. She told Jonathan King about the call immediately. Jonathan King's face became serious. Tell us, doesn't sound good. There might be something behind this. We need to be careful. They didn't know what was going to happen, but they started to strengthen the security around them and their family. A few days later, some negative news about the Woods family's business suddenly spread on the internet. It said that the Woods family's company was involved in illegal business operations and was being investigated by the relevant department. Although these were all baseless rumors, they still had a certain impact on the company's reputation and stock price. Luna quickly organized a public relations team to deal with this matter. They collected evidence to prove the company's innocence and issued statements to clarify the rumor. Jonathan King also used his connections to help suppress these false reports as much as possible, but the other side didn't seem to stop there. They continued to spread all kinds of malicious rumors, trying to completely destroy the Woods family's reputation. At the same time, Lily Woods also encountered some trouble at school. Some people started to spread rumors about her again, saying that she got her awards through improper means. Lily Woods was so sad that she cried at home. Luna comforted her sister and said, Don't worry, Lily. We'll find out who's behind this and make them pay. She knew that all these things must be related to the mysterious call she received before. They had to find the person behind it as soon as possible to end this nightmare. 19. Luna and Jonathan King started to investigate privately. They hired professional detectives to trace the source of the phone call and the origin of the rumor. After a period of investigation, they finally found some clue. It turned out that the person behind all this was an old rival of the Woods family in the business world. He had long been jealous of the Woods family's prosperity and wanted to take this opportunity to bring them down.
Joanna Johnson was just a pawn he used. He found Joanna Johnson, who was eager to change her fate, and promised her a lot of benefits if she could help create chaos in the Woods family.
Luna was furious when she found out the truth. How dare they use such despicable means? Jonathan King said, now that we know who it is, we can fight back. We can't let them succeed. They collected more evidence of the rivals' illegal actions and spreading rumors and trying to disrupt the market. Then they reported the matter to the relevant departments and provided all the evidence they had. At the same time, they also took legal action against Joanna Johnson, suing her for slandering, causing harm to the Woods family. The legal process was a bit long, but Luna and Jonathan King were confident that justice would prevail. During this period, the Woods family's business was still affected to some extent, but with their unremitting efforts in public relations and the support of their loyal customers and partners, the situation gradually improved. Lily Woods also regained her confidence. She actively faced the rumors at school, explained the truth to her classmates and teachers, and proved her strength through her own effort. Finally, good news came. The rival was punished by the relevant departments according to the law. His company was fined heavily, and he himself was facing legal sanction. Joanna Johnson also lost the lawsuit and was required to publicly apologize to the Woods family and compensate for the lawsuit. 20. After going through this turmoil, the Woods family became stronger than ever. Luna and Jonathan King's relationship was also more solid. They had experienced difficulties together and supported each other through thick and thin, which made their bond unbreakable. Lily Woods graduated from college with excellent grades and officially joined the Woods family's company. She was full of enthusiasm and was eager to contribute to the family business. The Woods family held a grand celebration to celebrate Lily Woods' graduation and her joining the company, as well as to commemorate their victory over the malicious attack. At the celebration, Luna looked at her family and Jonathan King beside her, feeling extremely grateful and content. "Thank you all for being with me through these difficult times," Cara Luna said with a smile, raising her glass. Everyone clinked glasses together, and the atmosphere was warm and harmonious. From then on, the Woods family continued to thrive in the business world. Luna and Jonathan King worked hard to expand their business territory, while Lily Woods grew up step by step in the company, learning and making contributions. Their lives were filled with hope and happiness, and they knew that as long as they were united and worked hard, they could overcome any difficulties that came their way and create a more glorious future.